Hello, welcome to a Go Battle League video. We're going to look into Master League this time, Open Master League. Now, these are my own battles this time. I was at one point at like 2950 elo. Unfortunately, then I started using Pokemon that are not really good, and I didn't play that well either, to be honest. I dropped down to the 2600s. The Pokemon I'll be showcasing this time is Reshiram. Now, to be honest though, I've used in many different teams. Many teams were centralized around Reshiram, like in the lead or as a save swap. I just couldn't make it work. It was very difficult. I think it is one of the best Pokemon at the moment in Master League, but the counter to it, that is Dialga, is also the most common Pokemon around, and that makes it quite difficult to use. You do win the Zero Shields now with Fusion Flare against Dialga, which is massive. And on top of that, Reshiram just doesn't have a lot of bad matchups. The opposing thing against that, though, is you don't have a lot of good matchups either. You don't hard counter a lot other than like a Giratina, but something that other dragons counter, such as a Kyogre, isn't as good. It has offsets. I think it's a really good Pokemon. The team I'm using is Mamoswine, Dialga, Reshiram. It's pretty basic, pretty meta. I'm probably not the first to come with this. Mamoswine basically cleans up everything that counters my Dialga and Reshiram. With high horsepower, it can actually win like one shields against Metagross. It is slightly better against Melmetal. And I mean, Extra is also always already feign a little bit to what's it called, to Avalanche. So that is the team. Let's take a look. My first battle, I lead Mamo into Mewtwo. This is one of the worst leads I could get, basically because Mewtwo outpaces me, and because of Mamo's low bulk here, against the high attack of Mamoswine is a pretty bad matchup. But I do manage to catch on my Dialga. Usually their answer would either be Zacian or their own Dialga. This is pretty good for me because this frees up my Reshiram in the back. And I can get to a Draco here unless they throw, which they do. That's fine with me. I don't want to use a shield. So it was either them expending a shield for a shield. Right, because I'd have to shoot Iron Hands on my Mamo. Or it was then throwing their energy, and now I can farm a little bit more and not use a shield, which is great. I have quite some energy now. I'm expecting Mewtwo Double Dragon. It's pretty common, but not still with that knowledge, it's not easy to outplay here. You could also opt to go for Stone Edge on your Mamoswine instead of high horsepower, but it will make you worse against opposing steals. It does make Ho-Oh more manageable. In fact, with some Power Snows, you one-shot it. I shield the first side strike there. I am expecting a Zekrom or Reshiram in the back. I'm not sure what to do here. If it is Zekrom, I have a good chance to win. If it's Reshiram, I likely lose because they have an energy advantage then. So does Zekrom, but at least my super effective Power Snows already put in a little bit of work there. Now, if this Zekrom doesn't get to 2 charge moves, it barely might not if I swap my Reshiram in now. I probably win this battle. Here we go, Reshiram into Zekrom. A classic. My Reshiram is not a hundo, it's a 15, 15, 13. So I miss 1 HP, which is unfortunate, but it still does most of what it has to do. I don't get the debuff, very fortunate for me, and now I'm able to get to my Grunge before they get to another of their own. And that's a good game. Mewtwo's too low to do anything here. So basically, Reshiram didn't do much. It never really does much in this team, to be honest. Mamoswine, Dialga core is just so good. This is one of the most annoying leads because I'm usually the one who has to expand shields first. There's 2 ways to play this out. If you land 1 high horsepower here, you can actually shield and farm down. Double shield and farm down. But if they shield that, it becomes way, way worse. I CMP on the close combat. They threw at 8, a little bit unpredictable, but I will make it on alignment, so that's fortunate for me. They swap in their Dialga into a loaded Mamoswine. I get more energy here. If I get this bait, I could outpace them to a high horsepower still without them even getting to a move. But since they do shield that, kind of unfortunate. I'll catch this Iron Head on my own Dialga that threw right before my next high horsepower, and that is resisted. Now, since I expect Double Dragon again or in some form, I don't even want to win Switch here. We CMP on this Iron Head, which is massive. This will put him even into more farm down range for my Mamoswine. But I want to be the one who gets Dragon Breath down here, not not me Dragon Breathing them down. So I'm not tapping my moves there. I'm just letting them farm me down, then farm them down. But they come back in with the Zacian. I throw a high horsepower. This will do very solid damage. And now I might be able to Dragon Breath down. There's not a lot that beats Reshiram with a shield up. I don't think there's anything actually. Like nothing. But I will keep that. I decided to shield that regardless because I knew they'd get 2 moves. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch the first one, but I'm able to catch the second one. Let's see what is in the back here, if this was a misplay or not. And it is a Landorus, which is huge. It's huge also that I kept my Mamoswine because that will pressure this Landorus. Now he has to get 2 moves, and he can't because Fusion Flare does so much damage. He already goes down before getting to 2 moves, and that's a good game. Next battle, Mamoswine into Zacian. Again, very tough. Let's see how I'm going to play this out. I basically tried out different things here. High horsepower is relatively new, so I also try out new things as well. Oh man, I think I remember this battle. Yeah, there's a lot of wild charge player of Zacian that I've been seeing lately. We both blind swap, and while I was expecting Dialga, I still accidentally swapped in my Reshiram there. A very rookie play. I do win the 0 shields here though, although I'm not sure without the best buddy. Best buddy on Reshiram does allow you to do 1 more Dragon Breath damage. I think Fusion Flare would have KO'd here though, so it would have been great pressure. Now I'm going to do a Mossly classic double shield. However, they threw immediately, maybe expecting my Mamo to come in to cancel out all their energy, but I came with Dialga and I did not need to shield that move there. This is still not great though, because if they come with Zacian here, Zacian can take an Iron Hat. That is because Iron Hat is kind of a bad move. So if they no shield this, they still survive. I would have to shield close combat probably because I have nothing left on Mamo. And what I need now is something like a Giratina, but it's a Buzzwole, which I really respect, but it's also a core breaker. If I swap my Dialga into their own, I may have had a shot if I got some shields down. Now we get the mirror. Again, Mamo usually comes with like double dragon, so my own Mamo is very important. I expect to get shields from them. But as you can see, they are higher CP than I am. Now, I don't have a lot of hundos, but Mamo is one that I do have. And that means that if they have best buddy on this, they likely don't have something like a Dialga on the back, because Dialga functions pretty poorly in Master League without that best buddy, because you just miss a break point against other Dialgas and they just win very hard as if they are countering you. They don't even throw their next move, they just double up on moves here, which is okay. I'm 2 shields up. They have a lot of energy though, and they have high horsepower for both my dragons. I hard swap into my Reshiram. They hard swap into their Lugia. They're 2 shields down. This gives me a lot of momentum to farm up energy with something, because both my dragons win CMP against Mamoswine. Mamoswine does actually not win as many CMPs in this league. It does have a high attack, but against the big Pokemon such as Kyogre, Groudon, and dragons like Dialga, Palkia, Reshiram, Zekrom, you don't win CMP. So that just gives me a lot of momentum. I'm going to undercharge this. It still does more than I'd like to. I tap a little bit, not completely. And I will allow them to get to a Sky Attack, which is resisted. That's okay. Aeroblast will do a lot. Sky Attack not so much. But now, man, I needed so much farm to get to a move there. But that's okay. I highly doubt they will get to 3 avalanches here. If so, that would be very painful. They swap in Giratina again. I think this is a misplay for my opponent, because this again gives me momentum to build up energy. I tried to catch a move here unsuccessfully. It's still okay, to be honest. If they Ominous Wind here though, might get tricky, because what I need to do now is come out with 2 moves, and they gave me the chance to do that by swapping out. It's nice to keep moves on your Pokemon sometime, but if you lose CMP, it's sometimes not really useful. It can actually lose you the game, which it did here. If they threw that avalanche immediately, they could have landed the shadow ball here. They would have won the game. Unless I catch, but I didn't, so. Next battle, Mamoswine into Landorus. Incredible lead for me. And the funny thing is, most of the Landorus leads are also weak to Ice in the back. Ice is an incredible offensive coverage here. We CMP on the double superpower here. So if they want to throw 2 of these, they have to shield at least once, and I'll farm them down. In fact, if they throw the second one and my next Power Snow comes through, I don't think they even get to another move on my dragons with superpower. So this feels very safe. I have a very healthy Mamoswine. And they probably have something like dragons, like a Giratina. Or they could have like a Lugia and Yveltal in the back. That's usually what's paired with that lead. They swap in their Dialga here. I go straight Avalanche. I have to throw these back to back because they're like 1 second off, which is 1 Power Snow for me. So that Iron Head, so I want to get this nice Avalanche off, a really good move. Gonna sacrifice one of my dragons now, because if I farm down with my Dialga, there's not a lot that beats my Dialga and the 0 shields. Basically only extra at that point. Swapping immediately, so they are not able to swap out and I can farm down cleanly. This does mean I cannot catch on my Mamoswine for now, though. Mamoswine still has some HP. Still, they have in the back. They have a Zekrom. That means that their only win con is catching. And I just don't throw my move, so that's game over. It's actually Landorus double dragon, indeed double weak to ice there. With Landorus in the lead, very weak to ice, and Zekrom so-so against it. Next battle, we lead Mamo into Dialga. Dialga probably the most common lead at this point, and Mamoswine, despite being almost 1000 CP lower, puts up just a really good fight because of its super good moveset. And this very clever guy actually catches the Avalanche, my bait, on their Kyogre, as if they knew. But this does allow me to farm down completely with my Dialga, or throw right before the Blizzard, because I don't want to get hit by that. But they don't even build up to it. They build up to, I think, barely a Thunder. Just right at the Thunder, which is still resisted. But they throw Surf instead. And if you farm down as Dialga, or try to, Kyogre can actually put you really, really low. Actually so low that I can't even get to 2 Draco Meteors on their Dialga right now. Their Dialga still has a lot of energy, so this is not great at all. This is not great. I think one of the most obvious play. I actually thought I Draco'd this one. The most obvious player is to bait, because then I get 2 moves. They do shoot that. I guess it's also safe for them, knowing I won't get to a Draco if I bait. And then I hard swap. I don't want them to get that farm down completely, because I expect them to be weak to Mamo in the back as well. I don't see them swapping just right away there. Just gonna farm up a little bit more, then throw my Avalanche before their next Iron Head. If they're weak to ice in the back, they will shield this. Usually things that are weak to ice in the back are also weak to Reshiram in the back, such as Giratina. No, Lugia is not, unfortunately, but Yveltal doesn't do great either. I have a shield advantage on Reshiram. Again, there's not a lot that beat Reshiram. Now, if my opponent has an extra drill, it's still fine, because I have Fusion Flare, but they have Giratina altered. Hold up, they have Giratina altered. This matchup is not as good as you'd hope, but I have a shield advantage, so that does work in my favor. If they can land a Dragon Claw, maybe they are able to farm me down with their own Dialga, because that thing is still alive, and I'm not best buddied on this, so my Dragon Breaths don't do as much. Grunge lands, they farm 1 up. At this point, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna throw at this point, or you get Dragon Breath down by my Dialga, and they do throw. I catch the move, and that's game over, because I will actually be able to get to a Fusion Flare here. They threw their energy on the Mamoswine, so that means they don't get there. They need a full Draco, because Iron Head is resisted, Steel is resisted on fire. That was a whole mouthful. Alright, here we go. Next battle. Another wash player down here as expert. Mamoswine into Dialga. Again, neutral lead. I think they have the Shundo as well. That's pretty cool for them. I usually like to go straight Avalanche here. I have gone straight high horsepower as well, because you still win the zeros and the 1 shields. But you also can get the 3 Avalanches, so that's just kind of safer. Let's see. Because that will put him so low that the Dialga isn't even useful anymore. Even if they would win Switch. Another Avalanche, they let that go. Do I actually go for another one here? I actually do go for another here, but they CMP me on it. And this is not bad. Because I get the farm down. If they have an extra though, this is very much over. It's a Zacian though, which is not the worst. Because I have Iron Head that's super effective, and I have to throw Close Combat. Close Combat actually won't even KO me. It's super effective, but it does about 65%. Now I throw an Iron Head that will KO. What I did have to be careful of is them swapping and catching on something else or even sniping me. They let it go, actually. Man, imagine they swapped in Reshiram. They may have sniped just all my energy. And at this point, it's still a little bit iffy. If I get debuffed here, I have to throw my own crunch to hope I get the debuff, but then that Dragon Breath already may have done more. I don't get the debuff. Now I don't throw my move because I'm one Dragon Breath ahead, and that wins me this battle. Good game. Yeah, throwing crunch was their win con here. We lead again into a Zacian. I just don't like this Pokemon. I don't even think Zacian is overpowered, but anything that has super effective on Mamoswine usually just wins because Mamoswine is just doesn't have great bulk. This time I go high horsepower and it gets shielded, which is terrible. I catch on my Reshiram, expecting a Dialga on the back, but what does this do for me? It gives their Dialga momentum to farm up energy. On the other hand, though, I do have Fusion Flare, which will do massive damage, but because I'm not best buddied, this doesn't do enough to threaten Dialga as much. This does about, I think, exactly 50%. Yeah, it does really good damage. I think even with the breakpoint, I don't make that. Now I do have the opportunity to farm down, but they have a move stored on their Zacian, and that's actually gonna hurt. My opponent very smart throwing at the very end. Is this an Iron Head? It is an Iron Head, but very nice faking that Draco there. Now what do I do here? I am a shield up, but they have a move here. I think I have to shield this. No, I let this go. Okay, I don't even know what I'm doing. Let's see. Maybe they're like double to ice. That's possible. The game is a little bit laggy here. They go in Yveltal. And because, again, the visual looks weird, they actually sneak a Snarl here, which is not great per se, but I need to, like, farm down anyway. I can't do that before the second move. And this allows them to get 2 moves to Zacian now. So that, unfortunately, is game over. My only win con here... Maybe my win con actually was to farm down that Yveltal and just... No, then I have to use 2 shields, right? I have to use 1 shield on this Dark Pulse and... Maybe that was the play, because now there are 2 close combats here. This Zacian popped off through around, like, what, 5 close combats this match, and that wins him the game. Unfortunately, 2 out of 3 of my Pokemons are weak to fighting, but the fighter is very uncommon either way. Terrible lead, but Kyogre leads just don't have Dialga answers. They never run it with, like, an extra drill, so this is fine. I have an energy advantage. They do have more HP. This is an old school Moss League player. Just swap your Dialga, double shield, and you win. Because they will definitely shield this. I'm gonna throw the Draco here at the very end. So my Dragon Breaths do a little bit more before I get debuffed. It does get shielded, and this allows me to farm down this Dialga, but not with Mamo, because they will get to 2 moves, and the energy is not as good on the Kyogre because a high horsepower does about, I think, 40% or so. They don't even get to their Draco. They shoot through an Iron Head. I probably would have shielded anyway. And they come in with Kyogre again, so that tells me maybe they're weak to Reshiram, or they have another Mamo answer. We're going to find out. Defense drop is really nice, and they tried to catch on the Giratina. They were very weak to like Dialga lead. Kyogre lead with Giratina on the back is pretty crazy in the Dialga meta. I shield the first move here. All I need to do is chip that, take care of this Giratina, chip the Kyogre, and then I have a crunch stored to win the battle. One big advantage of this team: you triple counter Giratina. Giratina does not have a lot of play here. I will shield this Surf. It doesn't really matter whether I shield or not, like, because Reshiram isn't gonna do much anymore with that shield. I win CP anyway, if the game works. High horsepower will actually take down this Kyogre. It was a little bit underleveled, so maybe that's also why. We have the last battle here against my good friend Boobly, one of the shoutcasters in Warsaw, and he leads Dialga. Now, he does love Victory Ball, but I'm not expecting any D-Gen Pokemons here. I mean, actually, Dialga's kind of D-Gen, I don't know. And he actually shields my first move, even though my motto is always bait. But I'll take it. He's not taking any chances. Maybe he's weak to my Mamoswine in the back. Again, if they have a Giratina, it's very unfortunate for them. Oh, I think I messed this up a little bit. I think I waited somewhere to try and catch a move, and that actually cost me a Power Snow here, so I don't get to my next Avalanche here, which is very unfortunate. Now, I do have my own Dialga, and with so much energy and a shield, it's really strong. So let's find out what we have here. Again, if they have like a Metagross, Excadrill, Melmetal, that's the only thing that could really screw me up here. They swap in Mewtwo into a loaded Dialga. Well, this is a sacrifice. I think at this point it's very much over because they just don't have Dialga answers at all. The Draco will take them out. Let's see what they have in the back. It is Giratina, that's just basically over. Because Reshiram is really good against Giratina, because I have that crunch. You can also opt for other charge moves. Stone Edge covers like flyers better, such as Lugia or Toki, especially Togekiss, but it's not as common anymore. Draco is very good for one-shotting, but then you can't hit Giratina very well when shields are up. I think Draco is actually pretty legit as well. Overheat, not really necessary when you have Fusion Flare. I think Fusion Flare makes Reshiram one of the best Pokemon in Master League right now. But as you saw, it does the hard counter a lot. It also just doesn't lose anything hard. I think that's a big upside. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.